So, what do I think's going to happen next month? Well, I'm suspecting it's going to get bloody hot pretty soon. It's already bloody hot in the day. Nice and cool at night. I love this time of year. So it's going to get hot in the day and less cool and pleasant at night, but that's okay. G'day folks, Andy here from Manor. See, I've been battling black spot on the roses. Now all those sort of fungal diseases are a real pest for us here because we're hot as Hades even in summer and quite humid. You can see I have got roses on. The grow bags out the front, what desperately needs filling up, clearly, all of them. There's mulberries coming on my first mulberry bush. And if we can get round the corner, I have a second mulberry bush. That's the peach, it's just dropped all its leaves, haven't come back yet. And the mulberry, I don't know if you can see, it's that one there. It's starting to get a few mulberries and its leaves are coming back, so isn't that wonderful? One of these is a Brazilian cherry, I think it's that one. And I've never got a bloody cherry off it yet. Hopefully it'll buck up. I'm continuing to take cuttings from the sweet potato. That's the white sweet potato that I'm putting in the potato bed out the back. You can see the house is still pretty much in catastrophic painting disarray. That's the end of week 2 now. We are getting there. Slowly but surely, a lot of the walls and the ceilings are done. You know, there's a few lights got to be plugged back in and stuff, but that's okay. Long last, I think you can probably see that. I'll zoom in. See that purple thing in the middle? That's a flower. At long last, we have a banana in flower. Now, that poor old fellow, he's on a fair old lean there. That's not an optical illusion, that's fair dinkum to lean. So what I'm going to do is get a rope and I'll tie him back against one of the trees behind. That'll hold him up long enough to get the bananas, and then I'll push the whole lot over, and that one's had its time enough. That's a blue Java banana. That was one of the that was one of the last ones I planted. The two on the other side over there, they were the first couple. They should have flowered ages ago, so I don't know what's going on there. I'll continue to feed them up with horse poo and hopefully they'll come into action as well. I did tie it up. I used a rubber sort of adjustable strap so as not to break, you know, damage the hell out of the trunk. And then I joined that to a piece of rope that I've tied over into the trees. So hopefully that'll do the trick. In somewhat unfortunate news, I have a slow leak. Because that board there is clearly very wet and it drips every so often. There you go. So what I'll do, thank goodness, is I notice this in winter. I'll get the few plants that are out, that are in here, and I've actually started already with those shallots, and I'll move them, and that way I can temporarily disable this bed and rely on the little beds to do the cleaning while I work out what the hell's going on here. So I've emptied the bed. That's not running, but the pump is, because it plugs into there with a hose fitting exactly the same as that, and you can see it, well, you can hear it if you can't see. There you go, there's where it's running just straight back into the tank, and that'll at least help aerate. I think a lot of the problem is it's just so feral dirty again that it's not flowing properly. Of course that lets it get far too deep up this far end. Maybe a tiny hole, and it'll be somewhere bizarre, and the water's running down that tiny hole and out where we saw it. So I think if I get the flow back to normal, the flood and drain system will stop that from happening. The other thing I'm doing is just washing out inside that drainage system. I think there was a blockage that was slowing the whole kit and caboodle down. I've actually cut the pipe off. So I cut a big chunk, oh there it is, a big chunk out that was blocked up. So hopefully, and that's what those balls that you can see down there are, hopefully we've solved the problem, eh? Sorry about the neighbour's blower. I've run this for a day. It's working perfectly. Best it's worked for months. Go figure. So the whole issue boiled down to there was a blocked pipe on the outside. So I figure since I've fixed this aquaponics bed and it's clearly working a heck of a lot better now, I'm going to plant some cos lettuce, an eggplant, and some capsicums. Bougainvilleas are out doing nicely. Rossie's had some lovely orchids. Unfortunately it rained the last couple of days, so it's spoiled them a bit, but not to worry. Very pretty. Well done, Rosie. So every August, and we're about 2 weeks late this time, we get westerly winds. And guess what we've got right now, folks? Westerly winds. Whew. So she is actually very blowy. It's not too bad at the moment. That was covered in flowers a little while ago. That's the mango tree. Looks to me like the possums have found it, and so there's going to be no mango crop this year would be my suggestion. So the lady across the road, Jennifer, I think, Jenny gave us some strawberry runners, which are strawberrying along. There's another choco Roz has put in. There's more little pretty flowers that she loves. Near a tomato. She's a good little gardener, isn't she? So this is the latest ring I've made this month. What I really wanted to try and catch was, see the way that red tiger eye shimmers? I'm also a bit buoyed by the fact that these little beds are... Remember I moved everything out the big bed when I was trying to fix it and put it in these little beds? Well, it's still going quite well, so I'm going to actually leave them there against my better judgment. And I will be keeping a very close eye on it, as you can see why. The mint's in there and booming, as I knew it would. But it's at risk of taking over the whole lot if I don't keep an eye on it. So I don't care if it goes up that way. But she ain't coming down this way, so that's going to get cut off and removed. She's done well. They didn't go off their tucker all that much. In fact, I've fed them twice today, a little bit this morning and a little bit just then. So it's obviously warm enough that they're back on the food. Today's haul of eggs. We're obviously getting enough a day now. We've started re-gifting, so one of Rossie's friends gets a half dozen. We'll get Rossie's daughter Shireen she will start and supply them soon. And if we still can't keep up, then I'll start and supply the neighbours as well. I thought those broccoli would come back. It's probably a little bit late, but I'll put them in the aquaponics bed as well, I think. Good as gold. Another big news is the painters have left, which, although initially will cause me a bit of annoyance because I'll have to put all this stuff away. But hey, I should get my world back. It won't take me long to get rid of most of that. We've started, in fact, getting rid of a whole lot of stuff. So that should be great. Yeah, got to put all the door handles. We decided we'd change the style of door handle, so that's all the new door handles. I'll put them on. Even those pots that Rossie's got out there, we painted those two fairy. That'll go, the ones in the middle I'm referring to, of course. So that can actually be put all back together again now at long last. And it should look pretty darn good. And there they are, separated and planted out. Eggplant, capsicums, those 6 there, and then at the end there are all the little cos lettuces. I think they're also called Romanesco. I'll probably lose a few of the lettuces because it was getting a bit tricky to separate some of them. You know, well, I was finding 4 in a tiny little space. Thought I'd show this. That's the problem I have with ants. Oh, sorry, she's not focusing very well, is it? That's the problem I have with ants harvesting those bloody aphids. So the ants take them up here, and then when they're sucking the sap, the ants take the sap because it's almost like a sugar for them. So it's only on this one branch, but I'm going to have to spray that with an organic pesticide. So yeah, sorry I haven't never mentioned that before. That's the bane of citrus at my house. And look at the size of some of these. Oh, Ozzie put some sweet peas in as well. Aren't they looking nice, eh? Very pretty. Rosie, well done you. Oh, she's got the little cherries on the vine. Looks like Tommy Toe to me. What a beauty. And again, well done Rosie. She planted that one. I'll show you something weird. Look at this. That's elephant garlic. Looks like it's doing reasonably well. There's one that waited all this time to come up. Can you see that green? Isn't that weird? Go figure. You can see the blueberries are finally coming back. Where's the growth? There it is. Look at that. How excitement. So, despite everything, pardon my voice, I've got laryngitis. Despite everything I did, there's not a single little peach left on the peach tree. Not sure what the story was there. So he's back to possibly getting there. I don't really like all that much the fruit, and it's not performing either, nor is the pomegranate. So those three would free up a lot of bed space for me. So that would be quite good. So the weather's continued to be absolutely crazy. Those winds, they didn't last long. You know, nice days. It's usually about 26 to 28 degrees, which is lovely. Next month, I think what'll happen is when it gets hot, it's going to get very hot, and I think pretty quick. And in fact, the authorities are starting to worry. I presume you can hear that thunder rumbling overhead. The authorities are starting to worry, in fact, that we could well get a bushfire. It's a bad bushfire season, which is what we've seen in a lot of places around the world, let's be honest. All right, well, that's my prediction for next month. I think next month might even be the last of the series. I'll work it out when I put the video up. We've had it's been interesting recording a whole year. So obviously not finished yet, but we're getting pretty close. You're on the home stretch. Hopefully you've enjoyed seeing what happens around in my little Aussie neck of the woods. And you all feel free to subscribe if you like my craziness. And you know, the special interest videos, like the how to pickle your own olives and all that sort of stuff, as well as the gardening stuff.